are streaming live. I am so excited to be here on a Friday afternoon. I know that you're out on the East Coast, but over here on the West Coast, it looks a little bit overcast and gray. It's still early in the afternoon.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Andrea Anderson, CEO of Productive Environment Institute, my colleague and my friend and a sister from another mister, joining me today. We are going to dish about one of my absolute favorite office tools, the Swiftfile. And I saw you point back to your orange box.
my orange Swiftfile box that matches my bright orange coffee cup, which matches my almost orange chair. Orange is my color. Orange, if you haven't noticed.
I am so boring. I am so boring. I don't have a pop of color. My Swiftfile is in my very, very basic Container Store plastic utility bin, which I think are about $5.99 at the Container Store. And I love it because it's very deep. I think yours is a little bit more narrow than mine.
Yeah, let's show them the inside, the side of it. Like, okay,
let's take a look. Yeah, mine is, look, I even have my ruler for when I was in like the 3rd grade. I will tell you, mine is about 5¼ inches deep.
Mine looks like maybe 3, like 3.
Yes.
It's about, yeah.
It's about 9½ inches high.
Okay, see. So tell them what a Swiftfile is. What are we doing?
Well, oh my gosh, this tool is absolutely amazing. It is a wonderful collection of file folders, but not just any file folders, I might ask. First of all, it is a file folder that says Swiftfile. They are numbered, and they are numbered beginning from, well, they're numbered and they're also named. So the numbering on the folders go from 1 to 31, which represents the days of the month. So let me turn this around. It looks exactly like this. I don't know if you can see that. So you'll see that I have number 9 in the front. And let me just get some of this. Let me turn this down a little bit so you can see. I'm going to get this out of the way and I'll explain what these things are in front. But my Swiftfile looks like this. So today is the 9th, right? So if I pull this out behind it, we used to, folders, people would put the tab in the back and open to the front. With these files, the numbering is in the front and then the opening is in the back. But when I pull this out, I can see all of what I need to do today in this folder. And I'll come back to that in a moment.
One quick thing, for those of you watching, you may be familiar with the old school numbered. There's like it's an accordion filing system. It's blue. They still have them. It's called, I think it's called desktop sorter, or it's a tickler file, right? And so it has the 1 through 31, has the January through December. So you may have seen those. This is that, only better, because those things, I don't know how many of you guys, if you've used those, post in the comments if you've ever used one of those, or maybe you're using one now. Before Swiftfile, that's what I used. But there's a huge difference in those. They don't move, and the folders move out. So I just want to share that in case, just to give you some context, if you're familiar with that other tool that's similar to what Karen is talking about with the Swiftfile, but these folders are so much better. So go ahead.
Well, they are flexible, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. And you did mention they are numbered, those old, and I always think of the expanding folder. And for me, they were always brown with a black elastic.
That's a different thing. That's a different one. Yeah. Yes.
Right. So there were those as well. And I find that when I'm working with clients, they have a bunch of these things and you can't see them, you can't move them, everything is, and they forget stuff's in there. So we find all sorts of things in there. But you're right, these things are very flexible because you can take them out, you can take them with you. I like to take mine out for the day and leave it on my desk open so I can see what I have going on. So let me come back to that. But the numbering system is, yes, 1 through 31 for 31 days. Obviously, you're not going to go to 31 in February, maybe to 29, but for the most part, 28. And then behind are all the months. And so I love, I think one of the key components, in using the Swiftfile is to make sure that you actually put things in there and then go back to retrieve and use a Swiftfile. So I don't know about you, Andrea. Do you keep yours behind you or on your? I keep mine on my desk.
It's normally to the right of me on my desk. I put it back here for the purpose of this video.
I love that. Well, mine is always on the right side of my desk also. And what I love about it is I literally come in and just pull the file. And sometimes I'll do it the night before. I'll just take it out and open up and see what's going on in, for the day. And I have definitely some loose pieces of paper in here. And so I have a story with this yellow paper. I don't know if you can see this yellow paper. So I keep in the front of the Swiftfile this pad of paper. My father, who is 84, owned a company, and he had like these stacks and stacks of this paper, and I hate wasting paper. So I feel like anytime I've got something, a note to jot anything down on, I rip off a piece of this paper, and then I don't staple it, but I tape it. So like I sent something out to my son in Colorado because he's away at school. And so this came up for me today because this package that had some, it's a care package to him, has a tracking number. So I want to make sure he got it because I don't think he's going to pick up the, his phone and text me saying, thanks for the package, Mom. So now I had it in there today. It was due to arrive. And when I check my tracking number and I text him to say, oh, you're welcome for all the coffee and the homemade bread that I sent you, then I can throw this away. And then my Swiftfile is empty. And then what I'll do, and that's really the one thing that, again, we're talking about the flexibility and removing the folders and all that. Once the 9th is over and this file is empty, I'm actually going to put it to the very back. So then tomorrow is the 10th, and tomorrow's the 10th, and I'll pull that open and I'll see on here that I have some information about pickleball. Hopefully it's not going to rain, but I'm supposed to play pickleball tomorrow. So that's in there. But we're talking year end. We're in the middle of December. The holidays are here. So we're not going to stress people out about becoming organized now.
Right.
What we're looking at, I think, is talking about in January when people get their brand new, like who doesn't get excited about a brand new planner? Did you get your planner yet?
No, not yet, but you're right. It's like a clean slate, new year. A notebook, a blank notebook as well. I love a blank notebook for the first of the year. So this and the Swiftfile is kind of, that's another tool that you can add to that.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking like, in January, people are like, they want the clean slate. They're going to diet. They're going to lose weight. And that's always when the phone rings. Can you come help organize me? And it's like, we can organize, but it really comes down to, it's the process and having a system in place. This is just one of the key components in creating a productive environment that plays such a crucial role, and that anybody who is just wants to put their foot in the water of becoming, creating that productive environment can be exposed to and have a really positive outcome. So
it's an action system. It's part of your action system for your productive environment. And just to give some clarity, you may be wondering, well, what do I use it for? Like why would I need it, especially in this day of almost paperless, right? And so if you think about your mail that comes in and you stand over your trash can with your letter opener and you're going through the mail, and there's something physical related to something you need to do. So that was an example. You wanted to be reminded of the package that you send and make sure that it got there, right? Maybe it's a wedding invitation. It's an invitation to go somewhere. The event is coming up, but it's not for 3 months. So where does it go? So in the Swiftfile, it would go in, let's say the event is in March. And so you might the invitation in the March folder. So you don't even have to deal with it now. Because right now, and what I did before Swiftfile, the inclination is just to put it in a pile because I don't want to forget it. So I might even put in my calendar, wedding in March, whatever the name of the person. But then that comes, it's like, where's that invitation? Where did it go? It was in a pile on my desk that probably got moved 3 or 4 times before the event. So the Swiftfile gives you a place to put paper or physical things that are related to a task or an appointment, an action that you need.
An action. Right. And it's so important. One of the things I love to point out when I'm talking to my clients is, so I have, I'm running my family, right? I've got my family, I'm running, I've got one kid still at home and I've got one kid in college, and each of them have different needs. One, I've got to pay tuition. The other one, I always have to check the grades. So these are things that are constantly in action. Those go in here. But I also put my client stuff in here too. So if I've got something going on with a client, I can put that in here. And then I'm managing my 84-year-old father's healthcare and his, all of his stuff. And I can put that information in here too, because those are all 3 things that require, there's something action related with those three. It
Yeah.
used to be, it could have been a pile for my dad, a pile for one kid, a pile for another, you know, and all these piles. So you look
Yeah.
at my desk, there are no more, the piles are gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see, and you don't panic because you know you have it in there. Now, I'm going to take it one step further. But before I do, Eds, could you post the link to people that are watching this, maybe wondering, well, where do I get one? How do I get one? There's a link to Karen's page where you can order this from Karen, but not only will you get the Swiftfile from her, but there's also a mini course that goes with it that you will have forever. It's a lifetime access to a mini course teaching about how to use the Swiftfile, but also a one-on-one coaching session with Coach Karen on how to just customize to you and your situation. So you're not just getting a product, you're getting a product, a mini course, and access to a Zoom session like this, just you'd be on Zoom with Karen, setting up the Swiftfile for you, whether you have a family, a business, a family and a business, whatever your situation is, Karen will guide you through the best way to set up and the best, you know, you see that we both have different containers for our Swiftfile. So the best container, and there's other options out there too. But all that to say, one of the things that I like to do also with the Swiftfile, I like to, if I put something in the Swiftfile on a particular specific date, I also like to put it in my calendar. So for example, I'm going to stick with that wedding invitation. If I put that all the way in March and then forget about it because it's there, I don't need to worry about it. In my calendar, I would put wedding March 15th SF.
Mm-hmm.
And SF means Swiftfile. So I know there's a physical thing that goes along with that event or that task. So then I go and it's there.
I love that. And you know, it's funny because what reminds, this is something that let me just show. I know that in May, I'm going to jump to May, not to stress anybody out, but I'm going to jump to May. Because I just had an appointment with my ears, nose, and throat doctor. And so I always like to get the little card, right, that tells me when my appointment is. And even though it's physically, you know, not physically, but it's in my electronic calendar, that it's on May 18th at 9:15 a.m. I also put it in my Swiftfile, the actual card. I like to see and touch things. But the reason I put it in my Swiftfile is because the last couple of days of April, I'll have a little note saying check next month's folder. But I can quickly go in here really quick and say, oh my goodness, May 18th, I've got this appointment. I don't have to jump ahead, but I'm thinking, oh, if I've got something coming up or I'm thinking about, you know, maybe there's a slim possibility I may have to change that appointment. I know ahead of time that I can easily go in and cancel and say at the beginning or at the end of April, beginning of May, and schedule it and reschedule that. So I'm not canceling last minute. There's something about that I like because, you know, I could have a packed schedule that week and not know about it until a few days before I'm really checking my week and to see what's up. No, yeah. I do like that.
Real quick, Karen, if you'll hold that up again, let's talk about, hold up let's talk about why you didn't just drop that card in by itself.
Oh, so look at the size of it.
Another piece of paper.
Yeah, well, it's yellow, and I've got kind of a little system here. So my appointment cards, I stick on here. Again, this paper was not gonna be used, so I don't feel guilty, you know, using it in this way.
Right.
But you'll see the system, like anything that's got like these balloon things, is kid related. So I've got a lot, you know, so I can easily.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a stack of this paper somebody gave me, and it's so easy. So my son's college tuition is due, and I also need to remind him to waive his health insurance because otherwise he'll get charged. So I do it on this balloon paper, and you'll see I've got some. I won't put my address up there, but this is a water filter that we use, that we order every single year. We replace the water filter, and I have the packing slip from the last time I ordered, which was on May 25th. And I put down order in May. It was installed on this date. And then I already know what the filter ID number is. It's filter FS300. But I'm putting it on this large piece of paper just because otherwise these little slips of paper will get lost. And I don't use paper clips because, again, paper clips, if I added a paper clip to any one of these, then they get stuck together. And then I don't know what's going on. And I don't use the staples either. I like to tape it. And anyway, but again, these are things that I have to remember to do.
Yeah.
The renewals and things like that.
It also gives you space to make any additional notes that you want to, if you want to jot down on the big paper.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The other thing that, I used to, that thing that before using the Swiftfile, I'm going to file it back in May, that drove me crazy. I would get coupons for, my husband loves REI. And as a member, we get the REI coupons. And then I would forget that we'd have them. So I would put coupons in here and I would do it 2 weeks before the expiration date. And I could say, here's the catalog, here's a coupon, is there anything you need? And there's nothing worse than finding a coupon and it's already expired.
Yeah.
So I do that.
Great idea.
Yeah.
There's so many different, there's so many uses for it. Again, just think about right now, if your desk, anybody watching this, if you do have a lot of papers on your desk now, on or near or behind you on the floor, whatever the case may be, if you had a Swiftfile set up with the days and the months there, it would be a lot easier for you to go through and pick up, we teach our clients to pick up one item at a time. Start with that one pile that's closest to you, because that's the most recent, right? And you pick up one item at a time and you say, okay, what is the next action? What needs to happen with this item? And so first of all, if you could throw it away, great, toss it. But, do you need it? We teach our File Act toss system. You can learn more about that from Karen. So do I need to file this? Do I need to act on this, or can I toss it? And if it's a file, it can go in your file pile. If it's an act, then the next question is, okay, I need to do this. I need to do something with this. When do I need to do it? And that's where this is a dated action system. So it's one part of a full action system. So this is a dated action. So I need to do this by next Friday. So you look at Friday and you put it in that folder and you have it. And then you can quickly move on to the next thing and not worry. A lot of people say, well, I have to have everything out because I'm a visual person. You're a visual person because you're afraid you're going to forget it. You're afraid you're going to lose it. And so the Swiftfile takes that away, because you can have a clean, clear space because everything that you have is somewhere in your system. And this is just one part of your system. So.
Right. And for the most part, you're not scrambling to look for that. I was showing you, I keep in the front of the Swiftfile my pad of paper, but I also keep two other things. I keep a regular paper calendar just so I can schedule. I know that, excuse me, I am sending insurance claims. And so I know that it takes 2 weeks to process. So I can easily say, if today is the 9th, that 2 weeks from today is the 23rd. So I'll put it in there and I'll make a note that it's in there. So I do keep a calendar so I can look ahead to see when days fall. There's something about that. And I also keep, a little folder like this with just little scraps of paper, because I don't know of one client. I mean, every single client that I've had, when they're on the phone and they're taking a message, or they're just jotting that, let me just jot that down, Andrea, we're going to meet on Friday. They're just grabbing a piece of paper and writing on the back of an envelope or a piece of scrap paper. At least I know I can reach into my Swiftfile. There's a piece of scratch paper there. I can jot my note down and then I can attach it here if there's an action that needs to happen, and then put it in my follow-up, which I love. One of the things that I need to do, that I like to do in January is start thinking about birthdays. So I have a note there saying birthday cards for the first quarter, get them all figured out and filed. So, I'm always jotting these little notes down, and they don't get lost. They can be found.
That's great. And that's the whole thing. I mean, that's what this is all about, creating a productive environment. A big part of that is a finding system, helping you find anything you file in seconds. And so the Swiftfile makes it a lot easier than digging through a big old pile of stuff to find what you need. And one of the other things, they'll talk about Barbara Hemphill for a minute, because she uses her Swiftfile religiously, daily, checks it every single day. She doesn't need to take that extra step to put it in her calendar, to put SF like I do, because she checks it. It's like clockwork for her. But one of the things that she loved about the folders, the individual folders, is that she can take them when she travels. So if you think about that, you're going on a trip, so you can take you can put all your flight information, if you have, because you know what, I know everything's electronic now, but things do fail, systems do fail. So I would still take a physical copy of my boarding pass. So I would put that in there, and any other information about traveling. and then take that folder with me, and then take the folders of the days that you're gone, and then or at the very least, the folder of the day you come back. So say you go to a conference and you're collecting all this information, at least have that folder of your return with you. And then you just stick it right back in your system when you get back home. But it gives you a place to put things so you don't come back home with a mess. So
right.
that's
But you know what? It's really interesting with people, so many people going back to work into the office post-COVID, or people just doing, hybrid. They're at home maybe on Monday, Friday, but they're in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's so easy to pick up that Swift file and take it with you, and then collect and then bring it back. It's again, it's a system that, everything has its place. And so it really is a great way to capture anything that needs action. And I want to go back because you mentioned the file act toss system. And since I'm talking about people going back to work, I am working with companies to set up lunch and learns so they can learn the file act toss system. And, you're getting kind of some insight really on the act part here with the Swift file. That is part of that. So I love doing lunch and learns. They're about 45 minutes, and it really covers making decisions about paper and where it goes, and just the very beginning of setting up a productive environment system in your home office or at your corporate office.
Yeah, what a great way to kick off the new year. So if you guys that are listening, you work in an office and you guys do have guest speakers come in and talk, and also virtually, you can do, Karen, you present to companies virtually as well.
Yes.
So to have a lunch and learn on specifically how to create an action system. It is one part of the larger, process that we teach, but it's just creating an action system so that important things don't fall through the cracks. Because you know what? If you spent your time and money to go to a networking event to meet people for your business, and then you came home and you put all those stacks of business cards on your desk and you never touched them again, then you wasted your time and your money going to this networking event. So having a system to process those cards and having a kind of knowing what to do next when you get back, that will save you time and money. So I highly recommend if you get in touch with Karen for a lunch and learn.
They're actually a lot of fun, and I love doing them virtually, and I love chatting with you. And it just dawned on me that I had asked you for some information this morning and I neglected to write it down. So I just wrote it down. Send cookies to Andrea. So they're not really for you, they're for the pups. So I'm going to put this in my Swift file.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to tell Buddy and Charlie that they have some treats from Auntie Karen coming.
Treats on the way. I love giving dog biscuits to my clients, but you're also my friend. So anyway, I think we've covered everything. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I just want to say I would highly recommend that you guys, if you're curious, connect with Karen. You can get her you get the package, get the program, get the Swift file in the mail. You'll get access to a mini course, and you'll get a one-on-one session with Karen. If you're not quite ready for that, or you're just curious, then I would recommend that you fill out Karen's scorecard. She has a productive environment scorecard, and if we can get the link to that put into the comments, that would be awesome too. So you can just fill out the scorecard, find out what your score is. We have from 0 to, well, I don't think there would be a 0. So from 1, you can score from, I think your lowest score would be 15 to 150. See where you are in there, somewhere between 15 and 150. That's your productive environment score. And then if you have questions, you just want to talk to Karen first, just maybe a couple of quick questions before committing, to anything else or to the package, that's fine too. But we can't say enough about the Swift file for helping us individually. If you have a friend or family member or colleague that you think would like that as a gift, it's a really great gift to someone. Just be careful. Don't give it to somebody and offend them. Like, you're a mess. You're really disorganized. No, it's not it's not like that at all. But just like if you've got somebody in your life that you care about that is saying, you know what, this year I'm going to get organized. I'm going to get my act together. Or their act is together. They just want to take it up a notch. That's the other key here, is that there are people that are, you've got everything in order, but there's just a couple of tweaks you can make. This being part of your action system is a great tweak to make, and you could purchase that as a gift. So connect with Karen about that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with giving one as a gift. If you've got a good girl, a
Yeah,
BFF, and you want to do
yeah.
an accountability partner, you guys can go in together. So yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
we can do that as well.
Let's do this together. So
yeah.
I would reach out to Karen. I think we're live on your business page. So you guys can send her a message in Messenger if you've got a quick question. You can, purchase her package, or you can fill out the scorecard. So but whatever you do something, do it. Just take one little action, one next action, right?
That's something. Having a productive environment, Andrea, has meant that I am able to, follow my hobbies and my passions, travel, spend time with my husband. Oh, I have to show you, this is kind of cute. I'm jumping ahead to February. I made him a very special advent calendar for the holidays.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I won't go there, but very special. But I am also making him one for, actually it's my January. I'm making him one for Valentine's Day. So I've already started my little Valentine's Day thing. So, I think that it really, because everything has its place in the office, that's always kind of people get unnerved with all that paper and clutter. Having the productive environment, having a system, having the support of, a productive environment coach, really means that it frees up time again for me, for baking, time with my husband, time with my kids, travel. I can't tell you how many trips I've taken this year because everything is moving smoothly. I know where to find everything, and no late bills, no late payments. Everything again works like clockwork. So I think everybody deserves a gift to themselves of a productive environment.
I think so too. Well, this was fun, Karen. We should do this again for a little
Friday. We'll do it again.
Friday afternoon. Yeah.
After the new year, we'll figure out what my next favorite tool is. I got a lot of favorite tools and suggestions. So thanks for meeting with me.
Of course. And I haven't been watching in the chat at all or in the comments. So I don't know if there's anything over there, but if anybody has any questions, hit Karen up, send her a quick message, or click one of the links in the comments. And can't say enough about it. So
good.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for your time.
Have a great weekend.
All right. You too. Bye.